The English term sovereignty is derived from the French term sovereign, and it was also derived from the Latin term Superanus. According to Aristotle, it is the supreme power of the state. Justinian, in his Institutes, regarded Roman Empire as sovereign, and also Augustus in ancient Rome regarded sovereignty lies with the people of Rome, as the people of Rome had legislative authority, that means to make law. During the medieval period, the Pope and the Christian dogma regarded the feudal kings as sovereign. Before Renaissance and Reformation, one major development was happened in 16th century, that was by Niccolo Machiavelli in his work The Prince, where he described politics purely a secular subject, and he rejected the very authority of church. The ruler owed no duty to anyone in his external relation and no legal limitation. That means Niccolo Machiavelli described the sovereign authority as absolute, and after 16th century, during this Renaissance and Reformation period of 18th century, further developed the concept of sovereignty, and they also supported the very concept of sovereignty that was provided by Machiavelli in his work The Prince. And Bodin, the French political philosopher, defined in his work Republic that sovereign is a supreme power over citizens and subjects, and which is unrestrained by law. So he provided a definite theory of sovereignty, and that definite theory of sovereignty of Bodin described that sovereignty is perpetual, undelegated, inalienable, but it is only subject to natural law and answerable to God. That means that he also described sovereign authority as very perpetual, permanent, and it could not be delegated to anyone, neither it could not be alienated from the state, but it only be subjected to the theory of natural law, and the sovereign is only answerable to God. So the law of the land as the sovereign's command, that was the very opinion of the French philosopher Bodin, and this kind of definition of sovereignty described the internal aspect of sovereignty. Another French philosopher or thinker, Grotius, he described about the external aspect of sovereignty. That means the sovereign is not obedient to any other authority outside of the state. That means he described about the external or international aspects of sovereignty. It is not subject to any state or to any country. After Grotius, the English political philosopher Thomas Hobbes, in his work Leviathan, defined sovereign authority as sea monster, and that sovereign authority lies with the supreme power to monarchies, and in that way he described that in a state of nature man's life was solitary, nasty, brutish, poor, and short. So there was no authority to bring peace and stability in the state of nature. So the subjects in state of nature, they entered into a contract, and in that contract they submitted all their power and authority to a single person, and that single person would provide them peace and stability in the state of nature. So in this way a civil society would be formed according to Hobbes, and when the subjects have no power to resist or no power to revolt against the authority or the sovereignty or the sovereign authority they created out of that contract. And this kind of description of sovereignty by Hobbes is otherwise identified as legal concept of sovereignty. The next English philosopher and jurist was Jeremy Bentham, and he defined sovereignty as a number of persons are supposed to be in a habit of paying obedience to a person or an assemblage of persons. So this kind of sovereignty is, although one aspect of legal sovereignty, but here he put certain limitation to that sovereignty. According to him, laws made by the sovereign authority should conform to the theory of utility. So when the laws made by this sovereign authority would be limited or to conform sovereign authority, then it is otherwise a kind of divided and partial sovereignty. But a full-fledged legal analysis of the concept of sovereignty was given by his disciple, the jurist and English philosopher John Austin. According to him, he defined that if a determinate human superior, not in habit of obedience to a like superior, received habitual obedience from the block of a given society, that determinate human superior is sovereign in that society. So here, according to Austin, if a particular determinate human superior authority always received habitual obedience from his subjects, but he is not obedient to any other authority above him, then that sovereign is supreme, and that sovereign is absolute, and it is unlimited, not divisible, neither it is inalienable.